Hello, and welcome to the 7th in a series of online Scottish music workshops to mark the 125th anniversary of the Glen Collection. I'm Ronnie Gibson, a scholar performer of Scots fiddle music based in Aberdeen, Scotland. We'll be live on YouTube at this time every Monday and Thursday throughout July and August, exploring some of the finest Scottish dance music as chosen by John Glen in his two tune books, published in 1891 and 1895. You'll find more information and links to free sheet music downloads at glencollection125.wordpress.com, where, if wished, you can also make a contribution to my virtual tips jar via PayPal. And again, a big thank you to everyone that's contributed. In this video, we'll workshop two sets, the 51st and 56th pairs of tunes as found in Glen's first book. Now don't forget you can use the chat bar during the live broadcast to make comments or ask questions, so do let us know you're there. Right, let's start with set 51. And before we play anything, it's an admission on my part. When I was transcribing the tune, there was a particular note that I thought, oh, that can't possibly be right. And I cross-referenced the original source that Glen used, Glen's setting. I thought, oh no, I want to change that note. But I've not been sleeping well since I did, so I'd like to change it back. If you've got a pencil handy, it's in the Bridge of Dee. Now we're talking about line 1, bar 1, 2, 3, bar 3, and it's note 7. It's a dotted quaver C as printed, but I want you to change it, if you would be so good, down one note to a B. And it's exactly the same in line 2, bar 3, note 7. This time it's just a quaver C, but I nudged it up a semitone to make it sound a bit rounder, but the B works just as well. So that's lines 1 and 2, bars 3 of each line. Note 7, it's a printed C. It needs to be a B. That's what I'm going to be playing anyway, so it's up to you. With that in mind, let's give The Bridge of Dee by Abraham McIntosh a wee play. And let's start with equal quavers. Ya dee dum dum da dum ba dee dum. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. I hope it didn't startle you as much as it startled me. And you see my rather inelegant frame stand. We'll just leave that there. Now, in the last session, we played quite a West Coast Strathspey Captain Mayland, was it? Captain Fife. And we're back to the East Coast with this one. We'll stick it in, keep in equal quavers, but anytime you see the straight slurs fiddles, just try and stop the bow a little. So in that first bar, there's a bit of breadth to the notes above the straight slurs. Once more, still equal quavers, 3 and 4. There we go, very good. And I hope you heard where we'd made that slight change to the note from a C to a B. It's in bar 3 of each line. Right, let's go back to the beginning now. Before we add the rhythm for the whole measure, we're just going to look at the first 4 notes and try and get the bowing. If we can get the bowing right here, there's a couple of other times we can use it. And what we want to, and we're going up, and off, and then down. I'll just demonstrate again. So we clip the second note of the first bar. And then the third note is weighty. So let's just try that. 3 and 4. And again. Once more. And off, on. And the landing is crucial. You want to land momentarily before you start moving the bow. So there's that moment of settling. And you can get a nice squashed note on the second beat of the bar. Just once more. 3 and 4. That's the idea. We could put some sort of ornament between those repeated C's. That'd be quite a common approach. But if we just use some fancy bowing, we can get a different sort of effect. It comes in bar 1, and then in bar 3, it's the same thing. Yum, tum, and then at the start of line 2, and again line 2, bar 3, yum, da. Where you want to come off the string. It's a gesture. Right. Let's try with the rhythm. Nice and steady though. Ti ta dum, tum ta ti ta tum. 3 and 4. So off the string, that gives it its shape. We also have the straight slurs, which become particularly significant with the dotted rhythm. That's the second half of the first bar. And remember to pair the short note with the long note rather than the long note with the short note. So you're going down, down, up, down. That's how it groups. There's one ornament in bar 2, and it really just makes the second beat a group of 4 semiquavers with the appropriate shaping as well. Not ta 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 ta. You just sort of dwell as it happens on the ornament A. Right, let's try again. From the top, 3 and 4. I tend to use the 4th finger instead of the open A string quite a lot of the time. In bar 1, the 6th note, that semiquaver A, I play with a 4, and then in bar 2, the ornament actually, A, I play with a 4th finger. Just to, if you can avoid a string crossing by playing a 4th finger, it's useful to do it. But if you are going to carry on playing on the A string, it doesn't make too much sense to use the 4th finger. Right. Once more then, from the top. 3 and 4. that's us. That's the first measure. Let's see. Let's just try once, trying it a bit quicker at this stage. Have a listen and then we'll play together. Let's just try it once. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good, very good. That's quite a nice tempo for it. Let's move on then to the second measure. So that's line 3, and we'll go back to equal quavers and a bit slower. And just to warn you, fiddles, we've got some double seconds coming up where you've got a second finger on 2 strings in quick succession. So just have the finger hovering over the middle between the A and the E. 3 and 4. Let's just briefly take a wee look at that ornament in line 4, bar 3. It's before the third crotchet beat. B, D, C, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Good. Now, about 100 times faster. So have the first finger ready, fiddle. But as soon as the bow starts moving, the third finger's down for the D, and then you settle on the second for the C. Once again, and. Last time. That's that. In the context of the bar, still in equal quavers. So this is the Bridge of Dee, line 4, bar 3, equal quavers with the ornament. 3 and 4. Let's just try again, and 4. There we go. If we go back to the start of line 3, in addition to the double second finger in the first bar, we've got a double third finger in the second bar, which is where you've got the D as a third finger on the A, closely followed by a G, which is the third finger on the D. So there's quite a lot of double fingering going on. Let's just try equal quavers again from the start of the second measure, line 3. 3 and 4. Okay, let's add in the rhythm. Something like. One, 2, 3, and 4. interesting thing here is the change in the rhythm. So the pitch content is more or less the same, but he articulates it with a different rhythm each time. So it keeps us on our toes as the performer, but it adds a great deal of interest for the listener or the dancer, as the case may be. So let's just try it again and pay particular attention to when it's snapped, when it's dotted, when it's equal. So from line 3, 3 and 4. And we get this lovely antidote to all the snaps and dottedness in line 4, bar 3. It's where the ornament comes. And you want to make that light and dainty. So you're getting light and shade in the character of this tune. I mean, that's what makes it such a rich repertoire. It's what can sustain us through sort of bi-weekly sessions, Glen sessions of just reels and strathspeys. They're all so unique and individual. Once you scratch the surface, you find that there's great depth to them. Okay, once more from line 3 with dainty quavers just towards the end of the measure. 3 and 4. There you go. Isn't that just delightful? C major, so not the happiest key for the fiddle, but each key, the tunes have a different character depending on what key they're in. Just because they were composed by fiddlers, and just the different finger positions that you need seem to suggest different combinations of pitches and things. So that's the Bridge of Dee, Abraham McIntosh. Abraham was the son of Robert McIntosh. Robert McIntosh is in sort of the triumvirate of Golden Age fiddler composers, Neil Gow, William Marshall, and Robert McIntosh. But his son, by all accounts, had a much more level-headed approach to business, and his tunes are a breath of fresh air. Robert McIntosh's tunes are just pure delights, but Abraham McIntosh wrote some very good tunes too, as we're finding out. Let's move on to the reel. The reel is Mrs. Anderson of Balgay, another C major tune. Let's just give it a read. I hope you've been practicing your C major arpeggios. 3 and 4. And again. Now these monorhythmic tunes are very interesting. So in that whole measure, it's all quavers. There's nothing to differentiate, no crotchets, no dotted quavers, no semiquavers. And we could try it, for instance, making them all staccato. 3 and 4. So in the lower half of the bow. Let's just try it again. Elbows up, fiddles, 3 and 4. Very good. Now, if we try and make them very legato, non-detached, a completely different approach. So broader stroke. Try and use as much bow as possible. Starting on and up, 3 and 4. That's it. Very good. We want something in between, really, especially if it's up to tempo. It ends up being quite detached. But one final thing we can do when we have the same rhythm throughout a measure is just play 2 bows for every note. Got it? Non-fiddles, just interpret at will. 3 and 4. This is actually a really useful trick to have up your sleeve if you're looking to speed things up, because the bow ends up moving twice as fast as the left hand. So in your head, you feel, oh, this is going fast, but your left hand is not having to play any faster. So it sort of helps to bridge the gap between slower and faster versions of the tune. Anyway, let's just try it once more as printed. 3 and 4. Good. Now, I don't usually do much by way of dynamics, meaning loud and quiet, but I think it suits this tune. If you start quietly and get louder through the first bar, so crescendo in bar 1, and then get quieter in bar 2, diminuendo, as the Italians would have it, louder again throughout bar 3, and then you're at your loudest at the start of bar 4, but you get quiet again in the course of the bar. Let's just try that. So starting quietly, getting louder and then quieter, and louder and quieter. That's the shape. 3 and 4. There we go. And that's something that can just add an extra layer of interest into the tune. Okay, let's jump to line 2. This is the second measure. Still nice and steady. So line 2, starting the up, 3 and 4. There we go. That's that. Let's just try it once, a bit more slowly, then we'll probably be ready to give it a run. So line 2 of Mrs. Anderson, 3 and 4. There we go. It's a delightful wee tune. So that's the Bridge of Dee and Mrs. Anderson of Balgay. Let's give it a run at a steady tempo, and then we'll try again more quickly. So, ya dum dum ba dee ya dum. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. That was the steady tempo. And let's just try it all again, a bit quicker. Ya-dum, dum, ba-dee, ya-dum, ya-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Let's see how we got on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. Some fiery C major reels for you. We forgot to see who was taking part this week. Francois, hello, here as usual. Great, it's lovely to have you. Jane, back for some good tunes. Yes, absolutely, Jane. Leslie, hello, looking forward to it. Good, yes, me too. Highlights of the week. Donald, looking forward to some new tunes. Yes, as ever. Francois was asking where was I? That's what I like, Francois. Yeah, some enthusiasm. And Jane, you say the C string is loving this. Oh, I bet. These tunes were made for the cello. That's grand. Okay, well, that takes care of set 51. We'll move on to set 56. We've got Petrie Strathspey, Mrs. Ferguson of Raith, and Mr. John Stewart, which the reel, Glen attributes it to Malcolm MacDonald, but I found it in an earlier source. It's in one of the London publications from about 1749, a Walsh publication called Caledonian Country Dances. So that would probably discredit it in Glen's eyes, but I think we've moved on a little from his sort of nationalist pretensions and we'll play it with pleasure. Right, Mrs. Ferguson of Raith then. Let's start by ignoring the ornaments, of which there are one or two, and playing equal quavers. Something like this. We've arrived at F major. 3 and 4. Very good. It's a delightful little tune. It comes to life with the rhythm, unsurprisingly. But while we're in equal quavers, let's just add these ornaments that are identical in nature. There's one at the end of bar 1 and at the end of bar 2. And the notes are B flat, C, B flat each time. Let's just try that. Ya-da-da. And. Now the second finger fiddles needs to become more of a flick and not a stopped note. Some severity about it. Let's stick to equal quavers, but with the little ornaments. 3 and 4. And again. Now, when it comes to adding in the rhythm, we've got a bit of a theme running because the same bowing technique that we looked at the start of Bridge of Dee is applicable here. Let's just try that. Da, off the string on the second note and down on the third note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Without the interference of the other string. 3, 4. What you can do on that second F is add the first finger on the G and get a nice chord out of it. So you're playing the low A. You can add that if you wish. 3, 4. And again. Once more. There we go. Right, let's slow it down a little, but add the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Couple of things. You'll notice the same rhythm starts bars 2 and bars 3, and you can do exactly the same thing. Yadam, tam, yadam, tam, yadam, tam. As long as you got controlled landing on the third note, it'll be very effective. Now, you'll notice as well between bars 3 and 4, there's quite a big drop in the register. So we go from an A down to a middle C. And to help, particularly on the fiddle with the string crossing, if you clip the last note of bar 3, stop the bow, and then it gives you a chance to get over onto the bottom string. So it's just finding spaces to build in a bit of time. Right, here we go. With the rhythm. First measure, 3 and 4. Good. Let's just look at going from bar 3 to bar 4. Oh, I see Maura's checked in. Here for a minute or so. Checking in quickly for a few minutes. Say hello. Great. Oh, it's lovely to hear from you, Maura. Hope you enjoy the session when you can catch up with it. Right, bars 3 to bar 4. And you just want to see how quickly you can clip the last note and then make the shift to the bottom string. So bar 3, 3, 4. And again, a bit slower. 3, 4. Although it looks metronomic on the page, there are moments like that where you can just be more flexible with the beat. You're not really adding anything as such, but you're just taking the time that you need to execute the melody as required, really. Right, once more from the top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One other thing that I was just taking for granted, the very upbeat can get a bit of a lilt to it, a bit of a dot to the first note. As a literal interpretation is that they're equal. And you might prefer that, but I like giving it a dot. So that's the first measure. Let's go on and read from line 2, which is the second measure. Let's ignore the ornaments again. They're a bit more of a challenge in the second measure. Ignore the ornaments. Try and adhere to the bowing, and we'll make them equal quavers. Line 2, Mrs. Ferguson of Raith. 3 and 4. Let's try even slower. 3 and 4. Now, we've got a whole combination of ornaments here. We've got some second finger ornaments, for instance, at the start of line 2, F, G, F, drum. Let's just try that. 3, 4. And then less defined. It comes there, it comes in bar 3, and then a slightly different guise at the end of bar 3. And then again in line 3, that comes a few times. Then we have a third finger ornament in line 2, bar 1, the fourth beat. And then sped up. Now, a couple of other third finger ornaments towards the end of the tune. So line 3, bar 3. On the third crotchet we have E, A, F. Everyone see that? It's line 3 of Mrs. Ferguson, bar 3, before note 5. When you slow it down, it sounds really disparate, but when you play it together, it sounds more than convincing. Let's just try it slow, and now quicker. Let's try that, the and. Now that was on the E string on the fiddle. If we look to the last bar of the tune, so line 3, bar 4, it's a very similar. The fingers are doing exactly the same thing except on the A string. So let's just jump in at the up to tempo for the ornament. On the last bar, first note, 3, 4. That's the idea. Right, and we're looking at all these ornaments in isolation. It seems the neatest way to do this. We'll put them in shortly. The final ornament is in the middle of the line. It comes in line 2 and line 3. It's the turn at the end of bar 2, for instance. Line 2, bar 2. G, A, G, F, G. On the fiddle, its fingers 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Let's just try that. And just to confirm, this is line 2, bar 2. It's between the 3rd and 4th beats of the bar. And now in context, you hold the first note for quite a long time, and then you just rapidly ornament your way into the second note. So that's about it. Let's try the second measure again with equal quavers, but with the ornaments. So nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There were a couple that we didn't quite cover, and it's worthwhile doing it, especially the one at the end of line 2. It's a turn, but you change bow in the middle. So your fingers are doing exactly the same as they were doing for the turn in bar, line 2, bar 2. But you need to change the bow for the last note. If we try from line 2, bar 4, note 5, it's the quaver A. And that's what we're after. The only other thing to point out is the ornament at the end of line 2, bar 3, where you're just skipping up to that high A, 1, 2, 3. But that'll be fine. Okay, once more, equal quavers with the ornaments. From line 2, 3, and 4. let's slow it down. What we'll do is we'll take out the ornaments again. We'll look at just the rhythm, and then we'll add it all together. From line 2, no ornaments, but with the rhythm. 3 and 4. There we go. We've got these 4 semiquavers in bar 2. That's lines 2 and 3, and just the usual shape. Good. Okay, back to line 2 then. Full breakfast, rhythm, bowing, ornamentation. Here we go. 3 and 4. And you'll notice again we've got the same sort of pitch contour, but we get a different rhythm in lines 1 and 2. So you constantly got to be on your guard. That's Mrs. Ferguson of Raith. There's a lot in it, but it's another lovely strathspey. It's exceptional, really, and it works nicely as a slow strathspey as well as a dancing strathspey. So do fire any thoughts or questions into the chat bar as they occur to you. But in the meantime, let's jump onto the reel then, Mr. John Stewart. Now, I'll just start by pointing out the double stop chorded notes at the start. You've got your second finger back on the D, and then you just tuck your first finger in behind it, but on the lower string. So on the D string, you've got your second finger, and on the G, you've got your first finger. So let's just try that. D2, F, G1, A. So we'll go F, A together. Let's try that. And again. Last time. Okay, and if we do it in reverse, we'll go A, F, together. Ready. And last time. I just see Donald's commented, all his time spent as a youth practicing Bach ornaments has finally been fruitful. Well, yes, and there's a connection, of course. It's all 18th century performance practice. Good. Oh, well, I'm glad. Yes. Maybe if I'd spent more time as a youth practicing my Bach ornamentation, never mind. That's the double stop. It comes at the start of our 1, 2, and 3. Right, let's give this real run for the first measure. I'll add in the double stop notes on the repeat. You can, if you wish. Ya dum dum dee da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the double stops are my input, they're editorial, but they seem to enhance it. This whole first measure is like the young birds at this time of year are trying to practice flying. Dum dum dee da da da, dum dum dee da da, dum dum dee da 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 da. They finally get to take off in the second measure, but let's just try the first measure again in that rather haphazard, or in this sort of early era of flight, where you get this we're trying to take off, but we don't quite manage in this first measure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. It's a friendly little tune. Now, if we take a look at the second measure, 2, 3, and 4. We have this rhythm of a dotted quaver in bars 1 and 3 of lines 2. The middle note, the semi, is really very, very short and deep. It's really, if you can imagine, the first note being a dotted crotchet with a sort of interference in the middle. You don't have to waste any energy at all on the semiquaver. Let's just try it again. 3 and 4. That's it. And we've got the same shape that we had before when we have the staccato dot. So line 2, bar 3. On the fifth note, you've got a staccato dot, and then notes 6, 7, and 8 are slurred. You want the staccato dot note to be short, and then the first of the slurred notes to be strong. And it's the same in the last bar. It just gives it a bit of a groove, a bit of rhythmic interest. Let's try the second line again. 3 and 4. And again. There you go. That's all there is to it. It's just a 2-line reel. Let's put them together. Mrs. Ferguson of Raith and Mr. John Stewart, the 56th pair of tunes in Glen's first book, at a steady tempo. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. And then up to tempo. Although that worked delightfully well at that tempo. This is where the test of the old Bachian ornamentation comes in, Donald. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you have it. That's it for this video. Thanks for taking part, and remember you can rewatch at any time using the same link or searching on YouTube. The next live broadcast will be on Monday, when we'll continue our exploration of the Glen Collection. In the meantime, take care and keep playing.